Yo, so what is good, everybody on YouTube? We are back today with a brand new video, and for today's video, of course, you saw the title. We're going to be doing a Deni Avdija career simulation, possibly one of the most slept on prospects in this draft class. A lot of people calling him the next Luka, so let's just see how his career will actually pan out here. And of course, if you are new, hit that subscribe button for more career sims. Let me know who you guys want next, and of course, smash that like button for your boy. So let's hop right into it. We're going to hop into the NBA draft, kind of put the first about 10 picks in the correct order of how they're going to be in real life. So let's just see how this one plays out. Of course, hopping into it, the number one pick is owned by the Minnesota Timberwolves, followed by the Warriors. No real surprise there. Number one and number two, just who I think it'd be in real life. Deni ends up falling all the way down to pick 7 to go to the Detroit Pistons. That could be a potentially lifetime draft steal right there. We're going to have to see how it plays out. Starting off at a 77 overall small forward, this kid has a ton of potential, only 19 years old. So let's get into it. Year one here, an interesting team, kind of a poop shoot in all honesty. Let's look at this team. Obviously 77 overall. Deni here, he has some pretty decent badges to start off and such, but the team around him is not that great in year one, as you can see. So let's just see how it all plays out. Year one here, Giannis Antetokounmpo gets MVP, and Rookie of the Year actually goes to LaMelo Ball. We do not make the all-rookie first team, unfortunately, but we do definitely lock in a spot for the all-rookie second team. And as you can imagine, we actually were the worst team in the East. You hate to see it, but this team is not that great. Deni coming in, having an immediate impact, as you can see, being the third highest scorer on the team. 12 points per game is not bad, but for that to be the third highest scorer on the team is definitely a little sus, but a good season by Deni nonetheless. Finals here, you got the Atlanta Hawks up against this Warriors team that has LaMelo Ball as their sixth man coming off the bench. And if you guys didn't catch that career sim of LaMelo and the Warriors, I'll link it up top. That was definitely a really interesting one. But as you can see, this goes to 7. And in Game 7, Steph ends up getting Finals MVP, and they clutch it out. Moving us into year 2 here, we still have Blake Griffin. Deni now up to an 80 overall already. And I'm sure that we probably got a decent guy in the draft this year to kind of go along with us. So let's peep what this is looking like. We did get Terrence Clark. Not bad at all with the 5th pick. We definitely were pretty bad, so I wish we would have got maybe 1, 2, or 3, but it is what it is. Luka gets MVP right there of the regular season, and I guess we improve a little bit. 27 wins and the 3rd worst team in the East, but still not what you want to see. Deni right there putting up 15.3 points per game. Some decent assist and rebounding numbers as well. Terrence Clark coming in with a big boom off the rip as well. Obviously, we're watching the finals from the sidelines here. You have the Dallas Mavericks with Luka up against the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum already in year 2. And wow, this Celtics team coming out really strong, getting up to a 3-0 lead. And ultimately taking it in 6 there with Jason Tatum getting himself a Finals MVP award. Moving us into year 3. I'm assuming at this point, like, our younger guys should start stepping up. We signed some bigger contracts there, adding guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., who's still only 23, and Lonzo, who's still only 24 at this point. Deni now to an 81 overall. So we're getting a lot of really young talent, and we're starting to hit that point of their careers where they're going to start building up and up and up. So I think the playoffs are in maybe this year, or definitely for sure next year, if worst case scenario. Luka Doncic here in year 3 gets an MVP season yet again. LaMelo racking up those 6 Man of the Year awards. And boom, I called it, boys. We did get the 8th seed, but playoffs is playoffs. Getting a 41-41 record coming out of the East here. Jaren Jackson coming in, huge help. Deni, really good season, 16 points per game, and about 5 assists per game and 5 rebounds per game, just about. So not bad. First round matchup here up against the number 1 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. And we were hoping for an upset, but we could not get it done. At least we did get a game and make the playoffs, though. Getting exited in 5 here. So we're going to be watching the finals from the sidelines yet again. And that Cleveland Cavaliers team builds all the way up to making the finals. A little surprised, honestly, with that team making the finals already. Up against the OKC Thunder, another team that a lot of people counted out in real life, but their rebuild has gone great. They end up winning it in 5 there over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Interested to see who's going to get Finals MVP for that team. Will it be SGA? Will he be stepping up early in this sim? And it is at a 91 overall. Moving us into year 4. The year is now 2023. Let's see what we are looking like here with another year of progression. A lot of green arrows. You'd love to see it with Deni now to an 84 overall. Obviously, his teammates are going up as well. Definitely a good sign for sure. Cade Cunningham actually ends up getting an MVP season here with the Utah Jazz super early in his career, so that's a W for him. And to check out these standings, we better have made the playoffs. And wow, I'm actually surprised we only got 33 wins on the season. I had a lot higher expectations for this team coming in after grabbing that 8th seed last year. Deni now putting up 19.3 points per game, almost getting himself in that 20 point per game scorer range. But it is what it is. We do miss them this year, so yet again, we will be watching from the sidelines. We got the Utah Jazz with Donovan Mitchell and Cade Cunningham here up against the Philadelphia 76ers, who still have Ben and Joe. So let's see how this one plays out. Could be an interesting series in all honesty. And the Sixers said that it's not going to be interesting as they end up taking a 4-0 sweep over that Jazz team. Moving us into year 5 here. Let's check out what's going on in year 5. 90 overall Lonzo. 90 overall Jaren Jackson, 86 overall Deni, definitely progressing a lot already. Terrence Clarke up to an 84, and I like what I'm seeing from this team. This year we are definitely making the playoffs. You can stamp it this time. Definitely going to be at least like a top 5 seed. Giannis Antetokounmpo right here getting an MVP season, and as you can see, LeBron James Jr. broke into the league and did get Rookie of the Year. And to check out these All-NBA teams, our guy Deni stepping up and getting an All-NBA third team appearance here. You love to see it. Checking out these standings. Let's make sure I was right. And yes, sir, I was. We get the number 3 seed behind only the Sixers and the Celtics. And Deni actually leads the team in scoring here with 23.4 points per game. Going absolutely crazy, man. You can't hate on. So let's see what our first round matchup is going to be looking like here. Our rotation obviously looking very sturdy heading into the playoffs here. Our first round matchup that I see, we are going to be up against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who did knock us out in years previous and get to the finals. And unfortunately, it's going that way again. Colin Sexton dropping 53 points, shooting 20 of 27 to get it done on us. That was some sus defense by our guards, I guess. But the Jazz here are going to be up against the Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young here in the finals. Definitely would be an interesting series to see in real life, I feel. But let's see how this one plays out. The Jazz find themselves up 3-1 and actually end up taking it in 5, 4-1. Pretty much a lot easier than I thought they would. Cade Cunningham gets himself his first Finals MVP there, moving us into year 6 with now an 87 overall Deni and an 87 overall Terrence Clarke. And Deni did re-opt into the contract here, so he will be here for about another 3 or 4 seasons, which is definitely good for Detroit. So in year 6 here, Cade Cunningham has yet another MVP season here with the Jazz, really early on in his career. And let's check out these standings. Wow, we actually come in as the number 9 seed, just missing the playoffs, despite having a very young Mikey Williams on our team as well. I don't know what to say. I honestly definitely thought we were going to be in maybe contention for a chip this year, but nothing I could do about it. Jazz here in the finals, obviously perennial MVP right there in Cade Cunningham, up against the Knicks, who do have James Wiseman, obviously another person that was in our draft class, and he's kind of carrying the Knicks, it looks like, as they end up taking it in 5 over a super tough Jazz team. So big W's there for James Wiseman, ultimately getting himself a Finals MVP award. Moving us into year 7 of the sim, the regular season got kind of a little messed up from a blue screen error, but it is what it is. In the playoffs here, this is what really matters. We end up as the number 1 seed with 51 wins on the season, just above the New York Knicks, who did win the championship last year. This is what our squad's looking like. Deni putting up over 20 points per game. Obviously, the team is being led in scoring by Mikey Williams doing his thing. Deni now up to an 89 overall. And to check out what our kind of squad is looking like as far as rotations, this is what it is. Not bad at all. First round matchup is going to be up against this 8th seeded Nets team, who are actually going to take us to a Game 7 here, which is a little surprising for me in all honesty. But let's see just how this one plays out. Of course, we will hop into Simcast and sweat it out real quick. So here we are, and as you can see, we absolutely flood them in Game 7 there, winning by 41 points. Deni dropping a 37 bomb on 14 of 18 shooting in that Game 7. Definitely was hungry to get that game done and over with. Up against the Washington Wizards in the second round here, who we end up taking in 6. Not bad whatsoever. Mikey Williams, huge game there. You love to see it. Moving us into the Eastern Conference Finals, up against a Philadelphia 76ers team that did win a championship already in this sim. And unfortunately, they do take it from us in 6, which definitely sucks. Not a big game there from Deni. Didn't really step up when we needed him there. But he is still young, so he still has chances. Up against the San Antonio Spurs here, which is a very deep team as well. Let's see how this one ends up playing out. The Sixers find themselves up 3-0 over the Spurs team. But the Spurs have a lot of fight in them. Greg Popovich is the head coach. And boom, in Game 7, the Spurs end up taking it after the Sixers blow a 3-1 lead. Emoni Bates gets Finals MVP. Moving us into Year 8 here. So here in Year 8, our team is really starting to come into that full prime mold here. You see we have a 92 overall Jaren Jackson, a 92 overall Mikey Williams. Deni's still hanging in there at an 89 overall, now 26 years old, so not bad whatsoever. You see the rotations definitely looking pretty solid here. So let's hop right into the postseason and see, honestly, how it all ends up going here. So Mikey Williams actually has an MVP season for us, which is huge. Hopefully that definitely means we secured a high playoff seed, and we did with the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference here in Year 8. Ginormous season from Mikey, and kind of his little counterpart, his Robin to his Batman here, was Deni putting up 23.4 points per game. Definitely getting it done for us. Looking at these rotations here, definitely looking extremely solid. Surprised to see Emmanuel Mudiay up to an 85 overall coming off our bench. That's an interesting little thing there. But let's hop right into it. Our first round matchup here is up against the Milwaukee Bucks, who of course still have Giannis Antetokounmpo chilling. And despite a 32-piece there from 42-piece there from Chris Middleton going absolutely crazy, Deni pops back with a 32-piece of his own, not letting us get knocked out. But in the second round here, we did not have what it takes, as we do get a 42-piece from Trae Young that does knock us out. 4-0. Watching the playoffs from the sidelines yet again, Washington Wizards here up against that Spurs team with Emoni Bates that seems to make it to the chip every year. And Wizards starting off pretty good, 2-0, but they are letting that up. Foot off the gas pedal, but in 7 after a trench battle, they do end up taking it. Washington Wizards win the championship. Moving us into Year 9 of the sim. Still at an 89 overall for Deni. Mikey Williams up to a 93, and Jaren Jackson up to a 93 as well. So we're going to be checking out the postseason and seeing how this year has gone for us. Cade Cunningham ends up getting a regular season MVP yet again with the Jazz. Checking out that standings. #3 seed in the Eastern Conference, not too bad at all. Deni yet again being that #2 guy on the team, putting up 22.6 points per game, right behind Mikey Williams. First round matchup is going to be up against an Charlotte Hornets team here with PJ Washington. And they do get knocked out in 6 here, 4-2. Deni actually leading the team in scoring in that game 6. Moving us on to the second round here, up against a tough Miami Heat team, the #2 seed here. And they end up taking us pretty easily, unfortunately. In the finals here, we got the Miami Heat up against this Spurs team that, of course, has Emoni Bates and our former teammate Terrence Clarke as well. Definitely a very good team on both sides of the ball here. So let's see just how this one plays out. Could go either way, in my opinion. So let's hop into the sim here. Heat get up 2-0, 3-0, and they surprisingly end up sweeping that Spurs team 4-0. That's kind of crazy. Moving us into Year 10 of the sim here. Deni at a 90 overall now. This is what the team around us is looking like, really not bad. We have Donovan Mitchell playing that 2-guard position as well now. Cade Cunningham gets another MVP season there with the Jazz. I think that's his 3rd already this sim. We finished the #2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And Bronny is now on our team. A 94 overall, Bronny is here on a 1-year deal. Not sure why. I don't know if it's because he wanted to play with Mikey Williams or what. You can see in the transactions here that he did randomly sign with us on 10/24. So I guess that'll spice up the playoffs here a little bit more. First round matchup here up against the Washington Wizards. So we end up taking them pretty easily here in 5. Mikey Williams and Bronny going off. Moving us on to a second round matchup up against Trae Young and the Hawks that did previously knock us out. Let's see if adding Bronny will give us an edge here, and apparently it does, as we end up sweeping them this time 4-0. Deni having a pretty solid game behind them too as well. Moving us on to the Eastern Conference Finals here, up against Darius Garland and James Wiseman. Definitely not a bad Knicks team here at all. We find ourselves down 3-2, so we will hop into Simcast and get busy real quick and see just how this one will play out. And as you can see, we're off to a pretty decent lead to start off. But in the last seconds, they end up actually taking it by 1 point there, defeating us 104-103, knocking us out. Knicks move to the finals here up against the Dallas Mavericks. So we'll hop right into the sim and see actually who ends up taking this. Will be Luka Doncic or James Wiseman. James Wiseman is up 3-1 here, and they do end up taking it in 6, assuming he gets the Finals MVP award here as well. And of course he does that at 97 overall. Moving us into year 11 here, Detroit Pistons. Year is now 2030. Let's make sure Deni is still hanging around, and he is. Thankfully, Bronny is no longer here. Deni chilling at a 90 overall. Jaren Jackson at a 93 and Mikey Williams at a 96 overall. Cade Cunningham gets yet another regular season MVP here, and James Wiseman gets DPOY. We finished the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference with 50 wins, so definitely solid. Deni ends up being the second highest scorer on the team with 18.8 points per game. Decent assist and rebounding numbers, of course, like always. First round matchup here, you can see what the rotations are looking like. First, not bad whatsoever all around. Obviously, we do have Donovan Mitchell at that 2 guard, which definitely helps scoring-wise now as well. First round matchup here up against that Knicks team that did just win a championship. James Wiseman, and to my surprise, we end up taking them in 5. So, huge game there. Moving us on to a second round matchup up against the Heat, who did knock us out in years previous. And we end up taking this one as well, 4-2 in 6. Moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals here up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And boom, a 4-0 sweep. This Detroit Pistons team has came with a brand new energy here. Moving us to the finals here up against the San Antonio Spurs. Let's see just how this one plays out. Seems like it could be a back-and-forth series as we find ourselves down 3-2. Let's start hopping into Simcast and seeing how these ones play out, since there's nothing that could hurt. We end up actually taking that one in crunch time by 3 after kind of trailing most of the game there. And of course, now we hop into Game 7. And in Game 7 here, you see it is an absolute flood session, 148-102 against the Spurs here. And they really obviously cannot do anything, so they are just going to let the ball dribble out. And we actually get some cookies there at the end as well. 148-102. We take it in Game 7, coming back from a 2-game deficit. Detroit Pistons get themselves an NBA championship, and Deni Avdija also gets himself his first NBA championship, I believe at the age of 28 or 29, which is not bad at all. Check out that box score from the game and see who just did what. Monty Bates dropped 23, 28 points there from Deni, and 33 from Mikey Williams. Mikey Williams securing that Finals MVP award. Moving us into year 12 of the sim, now 2031, coming off an NBA championship. So let's see what is going on. Check out Deni's little accolades now, up to a 91 overall. He was 29 when he won the chip. He is now 30 years old, and you can see he did add NBA champion to that resume, which is a good look. Cade Cunningham gets yet another regular season MVP. He's going crazy in the sim. Bowl getting 6th man of the year, and DPOY goes to James Wiseman. We finished the number 4 seed in the East. Pretty strong East this year, considering the 4 seed is only 52 wins. Why is Bronny back on this team, man? He led the team in scoring again. He comes back on a 1-year deal. I guess he just really wants to play with Mikey Williams. Deni putting up about 20 a game. I wish I could say that I did it on purpose, but everything is CPU here. So I'm assuming yet again he did sign on that 1-year deal, probably the same date as well, because that's how 2K usually works. 10/24, let's check it out real quick. Yeah. So first round matchup here up against the Washington Wizards here, who usually have Chet. We end up beating them 4-2, and of course they did have Chet. That was just a funny guess, but second round here up against the Boston Celtics. Obviously a very good team in these 2K sims and in real life now. So let's actually see how this one plays out. We end up taking it in 6, routing Jason Tatum and the boys. Moving us on to the Eastern Conference Finals up against James Wiseman and the Knicks. A real test here yet again. So let's see just how this one goes, and we end up actually taking it to my surprise here, 4-2. Thought we might actually drop this one considering we did beat them last year, but we actually sweep them back-to-back years there with dubs. up against the Spurs yet again here, and it's not looking like it's going to treat us as well as we find ourselves down 3-0. And Emoni Bates ends up getting a Finals MVP there, taking the series in 5. Moving us on to year 13 of Deni's career. Still chilling at that 91. It's looking like this is probably about his cap overall. Not bad at all, though. One-time All-Star, one-time champion, third-team All-NBA. More realistic sim here than some of the other ones that just go absolutely berserko. But let's see how this season ends up playing out. Yet another Cade Cunningham MVP season. This kid is just going crazy in these sims. It's insane. Kind of interested to see where we finished standings-wise. Let's check that out. Number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Not bad at all, boys. Not bad at all. And thankfully, no Bronny on the team this season because I did not want to see that again, man. That was just kind of annoying. Deni putting up about 20 points per game on the season yet again. Not bad whatsoever. Kind of being that Robin to the Batman that is Mikey Williams on the squad. So let's see just how these playoffs turn out. Round 1 up against the Giannis Antetokounmpo-led Bucks, who are going to take it to Game 7 with us here. So let's see just how this one plays out. Of course, we'll hop into Simcast and watch it go real quick. And it looks like we have a pretty decent lead on them here going into the 4th. And we end up taking it by 7 points. 139 to 132. Big game there from Mikey Williams popping off. Second round up against the Brooklyn Nets here, who we end up taking in 5. Not bad at all. DJ Wagner dropping 37, but it was not enough. Eastern Conference Finals here up against the Cleveland Cavaliers yet again. We always find them in our way to the chip. And they end up getting a lead 3-1 here. We are down 3-2, and we push it to Game 7. Coming back 2 games. Can we keep that momentum going and end up making them blow a 3-1 lead? And we can. Defeating them by 28 in Game 7 there. You love to see it. Big game there from Deni and Mikey Williams, of course. Moving us into the NBA Finals. Again, you love to see it. The year is now 2033. Let's see what's going on. Pretty back and forth series. We find ourselves down. Hopping into here. We have a 1-point lead. We get some cookies, though. End up taking that all the way. If we win here, we push it to a Game 7. If we take the L here, we go home. They get a bucket there with Emoni Bates real quick, making it a 1-point game. Can we clutch up here? An easy little bucket there for Jaren Jackson, making it a 3-point game. 126 to 129. They get a little bucket there, bringing it back yet again. This is a whole game of timeouts here in this 4th quarter, by the way. Trying to cut them out as much as I can. So 1-point game. We go to the line here. Donovan Mitchell ends up hitting them. They get the ball back. It is a 1-point game again. But this time, Donovan Mitchell gets fouled and actually bricks his first one, making it a 2-point game with 10.4 left on the shot clock for the San Antonio Spurs team. You don't love to see it. Emoni Bates holding the ball at the top of the key. And he pulls up for 3, and wow. He drains it with 1.3 left on the clock, putting us down by 1. Seemingly impossible. Throwing up a prayer. And it does not go our way, man. So we end up losing this series in 6 due to Emoni Bates absolutely having ice in his veins and pulling up for a 3 to win it all instead of just going for a 2. Tragic, tragic scene. Seeing what the box score was looking like there, Deni Avdija definitely could have stepped up a little bit better than shooting 7 for 14. Emoni Bates dropping a 40-point game there. Moving us into year 14 of the sim. Deni at a 91 still. Mikey Williams at a 98. Let's see just how this one plays out. Bradford Logan getting an MVP season here. Not really sure who that is. Point in the season where, in the sim where it's all created guys for the Portland Trail Blazers. We finished the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. And looking at those stats, a very good year from Deni. Bounce back year, almost 23 points per game on the season. First round matchup, we're going to be finding ourselves up against the Cleveland Cavaliers yet again. Ended up beating this Cleveland Cavaliers team fairly easy there, 4-1. Jaren Jackson actually dropping 47 and Deni dropping 34 in that dub. Second round here up against the Washington Wizards with Rui Hachimura. And we take that one in 6 as well. Big game there from Mikey. Looks like different guys are stepping up in this playoffs, which is nice to see. Going to this series up against LeBron James Jr. and Ben Simmons. We end up taking it, moving to the finals up against Cade Cunningham and the Utah Jazz. Back and forth series, we find ourselves up 3-2, so of course we will be hopping in to Simcast and seeing just how this one plays out. And it's a little back and forth to start off, but the Jazz end up taking this lead here in the fourth, taking it 120 to 114, hopping into Game 7 here, a 136 to 129 game. A little bouncy action there by the Jazz, making it 5 points with 29 seconds left. And of course, they are going to start fouling at this point. And to save you some of the headache, this is ultimately what it gets to. 140 to 133 here. 5 seconds left on the clock. We are obviously just going to dribble it out and take our dubski, getting ourselves our second NBA championship of this sim. And Deni gets himself his second ring. You love to see it. I'm kind of interested of which one of the three guys will actually get Finals MVP this year. Will it be Jaren Jackson Jr., Deni, or Mikey Williams? Honestly, could go either way with how good they've all been playing in the playoffs. Check out that box score real quick and see just what it's looking like. So let's see real quick what that box score is looking like and how this Cleveland Cavaliers team actually fared against us. Mikey Williams dropping a 47-piece there and 51 from Cade Cunningham. Wow. Mikey Williams securing a Finals MVP yet again with that crazy game right there. Moving us into year 15 of the sim. Mikey Williams 99, Deni 91, and Jaren Jackson starting to hit that regression wall, now at an 87 overall. Kind of a real shame that Deni's only made the All-Star team once. Bradford Logan getting another regular season MVP. And we come in as the number 7 seed in the playoffs this year. Not too shabby. Deni putting up 22 points per game, right behind Mikey Williams, of course. First round matchup here up against the Chicago Bulls, who actually end up taking us to a seventh game in the series here and end up upsetting us. Well, actually, we are the 7th seed. I thought we were the 2 seed, but I guess no real surprise there then. Deni dropping 24 there. And we will be watching the playoffs from the sideline. Raptors up against the T-Wolves here. T-Wolves obviously have Anthony Edwards still hanging around on their squad. But the Raptors are up 3-0, so a little surprise to me. They get some games back, but it ends up being a 4-2 Raptors dub. Chris Livingston getting Finals MVP. Moving us into year 16 here. Deni at a 91 overall. Still, check out this rotations here. Not too bad. Jaren Jackson definitely hitting that regression wall pretty hard. Down to an 83. We have a 77 overall starting center. So it's going to be time for Deni and Mikey to really step up this year if we want to have a good run, honestly. So let's see how it plays out. Bradford Logan secures himself yet another MVP of the regular season. Apparently that dude's an absolute monster. Looking at the standings here in year 16, we barely squeeze into the playoffs with 43 wins as that number 8 seed. Great year from obviously Mikey and Deni. Deni putting up that 22.4 points per game yet again. Let's see. First round matchup is going to be up against the Celtics, who are the number 1 seed. We're going to have to try and play the upset game here. And despite getting 2 games on them, we do get knocked out in 6. Watching the playoffs from the sidelines, of course. We got a Celtics versus Warriors finals here. Of course, I guess we might as well root for the Celtics since they did knock us out. Might as well say at least we lost to the champs. And they do end up taking it in 5 there. Tyrese Halliburton getting a Finals MVP. Moving us into year 17. Deni's still hanging in there at a 91 overall. Definitely a little surprised to me he hasn't regressed too much more. Bradford Logan getting another MVP season. We do end up making the playoffs as apparently the number 1 seed with 55 wins, which is huge, honestly. Deni doing his thing. We added Brad Miller, who's putting up about 20 points per game as well. So first round matchup, we have the Indiana Pacers as the number 8 seed here. And they're going to push it to 7 with us. So let's see if we can actually edge them out, or if we get knocked out here in the first round in a pretty crazy upset. So back and forth here in this final couple minutes. And it's looking like we might take it. 128 to 123, we end up taking it. Big games there from Deni and Mikey Williams popping out. Second round matchup here up against the Hawks. LeBron James Jr. hanging in there, small forward. So Bronny versus Mikey Williams. And we end up actually taking an L as the Hawks drop the 160 points on our head there. So we're going to be watching from the sidelines yet again. That Hawks squad up against the Jazz here in the finals. And this Hawks team is apparently insane because they just 4-0 swept that Jazz team as well. So I'm assuming Bronny probably gets himself an MVP. And it's actually Bradford Logan there. Checking out the retirements real quick because why not? And wow, Deni actually retires at a 90 overall. So definitely a surprise to me. He didn't wait until he kind of went down regression-wise, but he does end up making the Hall of Fame, and we will show some of his stats. I felt pretty fun about this sim. It was not anything too crazy. Obviously, a very, very respectable career from him, but not, like, too insane. But if you guys made it this far throughout the video, as always, comment GOAT, G-O-A-T, all capitals. So I know you're a true Bean Squad supporter, and I can show you some love in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, and let me know who you guys want next down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Bean out.